Mrs. Potts. I don't even know what to say, y'all. She is the bomb.com. Is that a thing anymore? Because she is. She bringing spicy back. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Christina with Read.Pray.Disney. Here on this channel, we like to talk all things Disney, from planning to packing to pins to books. So on today's episode, I know I've been gone for a minute and I'm so sorry. Y'all know how life goes. But we got our next installment, our next update of Rebel Rose. So today we're gonna go through chapters 15, 16, and 17. I don't even know. Okay, so yes, I brought out my cup and I'm sipping on a little bit. It's just water. That's all I'm gonna put in it. But y'all remember this? Beautiful. So I thought it was fitting to bring her on into the video too. Okay, so without further ado. All right, so remember chapter 14, we left off with Leo as in beast, okay? In this version of the story, he goes by Leo. So Leo has left. Remember, he has become king. He's been crowned king because Avion has succeeded from France. And he left to go on a tour to go visit the nobles and such, because supposedly there's some rumors and some gossip that some nobles might be stirring up a little bit, might be causing this, might be trying to bring Avion into a little revolution. So Leo is gone off to see about that. But here's the thing, remember, Bastien is the one who convinced Leo to go. Belle's like, no, you should stay here and worry about our commoners. But Bastien convinced Leo to go, so he's off. So it's Belle and Leo in the castle. And Belle fell upon Bastien having like secret council meetings. And so when she bust in, he made her demands that she wants to hear from the people of Avion. And this is where we pick up. So in chapter 15, Belle is listening to the people of Avion, and she's having the people come in, and y'all remember, I want to say in Game of Thrones, right? But when the kings or queens are sitting on their thrones and the people are coming up and they're talking through their demands or their issues and so forth. So Belle's listening to all of this, and it's like day 3 of all of this, and it's very mundane, illogical things that's happening that these people are taking up her time. And so she's sitting there on the 3rd day and she's like, this doesn't feel right. She goes, all of these complaints are like the same things over and over and over. So-and-so stole my chicken, or, let me move that up a little bit. So-and-so stole my chicken, or just small things, petty things, really, really petty things that you don't need your king to come figure out for you. So she gets to thinking while she's listening to this lady complain about how, what was this lady's complaint? This lady's complaint was, so listening to a young girl who complained that her neighbor was stealing herbs from her garden in the dead of night. So she's listening to all these things, and Bastien, because he's standing there with her, and he goes, Bastien's repeated reminders that Belle had asked for this and that she should be grateful that so many of her people had answered her call for petitions were not helping. Something wasn't right. And yeah, something's not right. Something's very not right. So smart Belle, she enlists the help of Lumiere, and she asks Lumiere to pull Bastien away for some sort of emergency thing. So of course, Bastien being Bastien, and I think he wants to be king. Let's just be honest. I think that's where he's going with this, with all of this shadiness. So anyway, Lumiere pulls Bastien out for this fake thing. And so Belle kind of leans over to the girl. And she's like, boo, this ain't real, right? And the girl's like, what you mean, madame? And Belle's like, stop. You can really stop. Who told you to come here? And the girl looks scared. She's like, she looks where Bastien was standing, and she's like, I can't say. I swore to him that she goes, stop. Who told you to come here? No, let me back up. She goes, well, what's the girl's name? And the young lady there, she goes, madame? And she goes, what's the girl's name that's stealing, what's your neighbor's name that's stealing your herbs? And she goes, some French name that I can't pronounce, so we're gonna call her Becky. She's like, Becky's stealing my herbs. And Belle's like, Becky isn't real, is she? She's like, no, Becky's not real. And then she asked her who asked, you know, who told you to come here? And so eventually she gets down to it. Come to find out that Bastian's paying people. Well, okay. Belle's inclination is that Bastian's paying people to come up here and lie. Eat up time and lie. He's hiding something. He's shady, y'all, but she won't confront him just yet because she doesn't necessarily have hardcore hitting evidence yet, right? So she still wants to kind of bide her time with this because she doesn't know which way to go with it. So, but here's a side note. So the lady's like, yeah, he's paying me like whatever dollars. And so Belle just kind of reaches over and gives her like twice that and says, here, go about your business. Don't do this again. And the other thing is, because Bastian promised that he would spread the word to the people in Avion that the kingdom is open up for their petitions. But the lady was like, no one's heard of any of this. He handpicked people to come up here and do this. So he ain't even tell nobody that they supposed to be petitioning. Shady. So anyway, Belle doesn't know what to do with it yet, so she kind of holds that little nugget, right? Okay, so then we move on to, so she's feeling some kind of way about Leo being gone, and of course you would be, right? So she's feeling a little kind of way about him being gone, so she's walking around the halls, and she's finding it hard to read, and da-da-da-da-da. So she's like, you know what, she's like, I'm just gonna see what Mrs. Potts is doing. Okay. So she goes down to where Mrs. Potts is. Mrs. Potts over there washing dishes. And Belle's like, can I help you with the dishes? Like, you wanna help me with? Yeah, you can help me with the dishes. Cause you know, Mrs. Potts is a G, right? She's like, you ain't no queen. You gonna help me with these dishes. I love it. I love it. So here's the thing. So she goes over to Mrs. Potts and she starts helping her wash the dishes. And of course, Belle's like humdrum, you know, she's missing Leo. She doesn't want to know about Bastian. She has all these problems. And Mrs. Potts is like, well, you know, what's wrong with you? And Belle's, you know, trying to tell her that she goes, here we go. Belle picked up a fork and got to drying it. She trusted Mrs. Potts more than almost anyone in the castle, but she didn't want to sully the cook's opinion of Bastian just yet. All Belle knew was that he was admittedly someone else, was lying to her, which was egregious enough, but she seemed more to go on before she needed more to go on before she pointed fingers. So she tells Mrs. Potts, Leo's advisors refuse to take me seriously. They act as if I'm a child, not the wife of a king. And Mrs. Potts, you know, she starts off, she's like, well, you know, you're more than just someone's wife. And she goes, Belle's like, you know what I mean? She goes, here she goes. She goes, I do. I hope you don't take this the wrong way, but why on earth do you give a damn about what those decrepit windbags think about you? And literally Belle's taken back. She's like, ooh, she never heard her cuss. I even put like a little LOL, like, oh my gosh, no, she didn't. She goes, Belle goes, I suppose I don't care, but they still hold a lot of power. Everything I do must pass through them first, and they don't think very highly of my desire to work with the commoners. So stop seeking their approval. Okay, Mrs. Potts. And then she goes on, then I'm no better than King Louis. And Mrs. Potts, or Belle says, I'm no better than King Louis. Mrs. Potts says, well, we all know that isn't true. You're not queen, so stop acting like one. And Belle's like, I'm not, I don't understand. Mrs. Potts goes, a queen must answer to everyone, her staff, her advisors, her nobles, her people. Everyone, every move she makes is scrutinized, dissected, and judged because her decisions affect the entire kingdom. And Belle's like, okay, where is this going? And Mrs. Potts goes, but you're not queen, nor do you wish to be. Your decisions will not be acted upon as though you are. You are free to associate and learn from who you wish. And you are free to give Leo wise counsel when he returns so that he can be the one to shoulder responsibility as he should. And so Belle's like, so you mean to say I can do what I please? And Miss Potts, I put damn Potts, because she goes, if Avion can't have you as their queen, Being its people's advocate might be the next best thing. Again, Mrs. Potts with the wisdom, telling Belle, go do the doggone thing. Stop holding back. All right. So they depart, and Belle's just shook. She's like, oh my gosh, I don't believe this lady just told me all of this, but it makes sense. And so then Belle that night decides to leave the castle. She takes Philippe and she bundles herself up, and she takes Philippe and she goes riding into the city or into the town. And she goes into a bar of all places, a tavern. I would like to think it's like that Gaston's, the tavern that Gaston was in. I would like to think it's that. And I think that's what it is. But so she goes into the tavern and she's all, dressed down and she doesn't look like herself, which I've always wondered in movies, how is it that changing your clothes changes what you look like? But whatever. So no one recognizes her, and she comes up to the bar, and the bar's like, keep like, hey, what you want? And she goes, I want some hot tea. And so tea, right? That's why I had to put my chai harder, because Belle about to get the tea, y'all. So, and speaking of tea, I need a drink. Okay, so Belle, she's at this bar. And here's a side note, Belle doesn't have any kind of stranger danger, okay? So Belle's at this bar, she's drinking her little tea, she's sipping on her tea, and there's a woman, and this little group of women, and they're sitting over at the table, like, hey, you're by yourself? And Belle's like, who, me? Yes, I am by myself. Anyway, they're like, come over here. But I guess because she felt as a group of women, she should be okay. So she went over and sat down with them, and they're all maids of different kinds, and they're just chit-chatting. But here's the thing. So the girl, she introduces herself and, asks who Belle is, and Belle's not going to say she's Belle. So she says she's Daphne. Side note, Daphne is Leo's mother's name. So for those of you guys, if you're keeping track of canon, I don't even know if this falls within Beauty and the Beast canon, because I never knew that Leo's mom had a name, but evidently it's Daphne. So Belle chooses Daphne as her name, and she tells them that she is a maid in the castle, and the ladies are like, oh my gosh, it must be great to be in a castle. And Belle's like, sure, but then there's some guys over there, and they're like, oh, you can figure drunken night, you're getting your feelings out. And so they get to talking, and come to find out, the people of Avion, which was what Belle was hoping for anyway, to hear the stuff, but the people of Avion, they're ticked at Leo. They're okay with the fact that he succeeded from France, but they're ticked that he's been king for less than a month and hasn't done a gosh darn thing for them. And Belle tries to come to defend him. He's like, well, it's only been a short amount of time. And they're like, well, where is he? He's off going find these, talk to these noble people, but we're here, and they also going to talk about or Belle's like, well, Leo believes in equality, and King Leo believes in equality, for everyone. They're like, no, he doesn't. Because if he did, the taxes wouldn't be the way they are. If he did believe in equality for everyone, then, we would have as commoners, we would have equality in being able to make equal pay and so forth. So they're going on and on. And it's just eye-opening to Belle. She had no idea of all of this. So she leaves, and it goes back. And so as she's putting Philippe up, guess who comes into the barn? Bastien. So she hides behind, because she hears him coming, and she hides behind something. And Bastien comes in, and the stable boy, he's telling the stable boy, hey, make sure you feed the horse good and so forth. I rode him hard, so you make sure you feed him, and don't tell anyone. And Belle's like, ooh. Okay, I knew I was sneaking out, but why are you sneaking out, Bastien? And why it's so secret? So, okay. So that takes us through chapter 15. So chapter 16 picks up where, I lied. Hold on. Okay, so chapter 16, what started off with Belle and Philippe in that situation in the barn. And then it goes into, so the next morning, Belle goes back to Avion, or back to Plaisance is where the little town is where she grew up. And she goes back to the bookshop and she meets the bookshop person. And when she meets the bookshop person, you know, they kind of get to talking a little bit. And he's like, I have these piles of books I reserved for you and I keep here for you. And she's like, oh, that's so sweet. Y'all, knew it. Guess who shows up? Y'all, you want to guess? Marguerite. Y'all remember Marguerite? The black lady from Bastien's party back in Paris. And it was, remember, so Marguerite shows up. And she's in Avion. And she's in the bookshop. Like, she walks into the bookshop as Belle's there. And Belle's like, oh, what you doing here? And Marguerite's like, well, you know, I heard that y'all were succeeding from France. And I was doing my thing, touring, so forth. She was like, I thought I'd make it here for the coronation, but she didn't make it in time. But she's still there. And she loves Avion. And she loves how beautiful it is and so forth. And she likes the countryside and so forth. And the slower pace and all of that. And Belle's like, oh my gosh, it's good to see you. Y'all, so they do a little small talk. Come to find out, Marguerite's father left for the Americas. Didn't necessarily leave her any money, but Marguerite's mother, who is passed, Marguerite's mother had the wherewithal to leave Marguerite some money that her father couldn't touch. So her father, not that he's a bad guy, he just left. He went to America. The brother's out doing whatever the brother's doing. And Marguerite is just this single woman traipsing around the continent. And Belle's like, oh my gosh, I wish I could do that. So she invites Marguerite back to the castle to live. This is the second time you've met her. What are you thinking? This is the second time you met her. But to be fair, y'all remember that situation with the magic mirror when Belle was in the library and the magic mirror told Belle to trust her instincts? I don't know if this is one of those times, because Marguerite seems sweet enough. She's going to help Belle catalog the library. And she's also in Belle's corner saying, yeah, absolutely open the library up to Avion, to the commoners and so forth, and I'll help you. And so Belle's going to put her up in the castle, pay her a wage, and, you know, and I'm just like, I don't know, because I don't know. I feel like I shouldn't trust her, but then I feel like the way our author has set us up, maybe we should trust her. But I just feel like Belle fell a little too hard for this friendship. Like, she really wanted a friend. She's missing Leo, something fierce. And your castle friends, Mrs. Potts and all of them, they are at this point your servants, so you can trust to a certain extent. But she wants a girlfriend, and I get that. I don't know. So anyway, all right. So Marguerite gets back to, let's see here. Yeah. Gotta catch up. I said a whole lot. Yeah, I talked about not her getting sucked in. And oh, that was the other thing about Marguerite and her story. Marguerite told Belle the story of her mom saying that, you know, because Belle was like, well, oh my gosh, aren't you gonna miss your father? And she's like, nah, I ain't gonna miss that man. I do miss my mom, but my dad, nah, he was always disconnected. But I just wonder if that's going to play out later too. I don't know. Maybe she's pulling on Belle's heartstring, meaning Belle never had her mom either. I don't know. I truly don't know. So this is what I put at the end of that chapter. I said, someone to help. I am glad that she's there, because she's gonna be someone to help put Bastien in his place. Belle has backup now. But then I also put, let's see what Mrs. Potts has to say. Let Mrs. Potts meet Marguerite and vet her. I want to see what Mrs. Potts has to say. But a small nugget. Marguerite doesn't necessarily trust Bastien either. We'll see. So Marguerite's going to help Belle plan the salon. that the party thing, because she's done so many, she's hosted so many, been to so many, even some crazy one of Pauline Lemaire's infamous bacchanal of a salon. What does that mean? It's BACCHANAL. Bacchanal. I don't know what that is. Stop giving me these French words. I don't know. But anyway, evidently I'm taking it context clues meaning bad. All right, so chapter 17 is pretty straightforward. Not stuff happens, but not too much. So in the span of the day, Belle's business has shifted dramatically. Like she's feeling better. She's feeling great. She has Marguerite there. Her and Marguerite have been eating in Belle's room and going through the library and cataloging the stuff. Something that happens in this particular chapter though, is that they're in the library and I don't know if y'all remember the library scene, because the library is really, really tall. And so the very, 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 very top, there are books up there and they're not sure if they're even safe. Belle's like climbing this rickety ladder, like, yeah, it's safe, but we probably need to invest in fixing it. And so they touch a few, but they don't want to mess. I don't know. It just seemed odd why this author was talking about the books at the very top. I feel like that's going to come back into play maybe. If not, just talk about the fact that the library is dusty and yeah, they have to, because you figure those are thousands upon thousands of books. They don't get used all the time. So it's very dusty and going through all of that. So I don't know. Anyway, so here's the thing. Something that surprised me about Marguerite is always dropping these little things saying, like, for instance, she goes, "Is it true your husband simply gave it to you during your courtship?" How do you know that her husband, like, is that a thing? Like, did everybody in Avion know that Beast gave Belle the library? Like, I didn't think that was a thing that everyone knew. But Marguerite knew. There was something else that Marguerite knew that kind of struck me as odd. Like, why do you know that? It seemed like something that was not intimate, but let me see. So it says, she says, "I'm tantalized by the stories of how magnificent your library is." If according to this author, everyone in Avion forgot about the castle, forgot about the prince. So are these stories pre 10-year curse, or are these stories just a few months? How do these stories getting out about the library? I don't know. It just seems odd. Like, I don't know. Anyway, I'm moving on. Now I got to talking and I don't remember if I said that we're in chapter 17 or not, because I just got excited. So we are in chapter 17 where the ladies, where the whole, top shelf of the library thing happened. But later in the day, Belle, she's like, "Hey, Marguerite, I got to stop talking and, helping catalog and all that and stop talking about the salon." Because remember, Marguerite's still teaching her about the salons. She's like, "I got to go to a meeting." And Marguerite's like, "Yeah, another meeting?" She's like, "Yeah, boo. These folks, they running me." She's like, "Okay, well, good luck." And so Belle goes to this meeting, and of course it's already started. Bastien he's doing the most. Like, he's really trying to keep her out of whatever it is. So the meeting's already started, and he has he has the audacity to be perturbed by the fact that she interrupts his meeting. But it's not your meeting, and it's her castle. Okay, whatever. So anyway, she comes in and, trying to hear out what they're talking about. And so evidently what they're saying is, for all these travelers, there are people that are traveling through Avion with goods and stuff. They want to tax them. They want to tax these people that are traveling through. And Belle's like, why? And he's like, "Well, because it puts money in our coffers. It's not like we got a whole bunch of money." And she's like, "No, I get that. I understand. But taxing these people, these are merchants who," and remember, her father was essentially a merchant. He's an inventor / merchant. He sells his stuff. So she's like, "But if you're taxing them, then they may not want to come through Avion again." Anyway, they go back and forth. And she's like, "You know what? why don't we leave this for Leo to decide? You know, this should be a king decision. We're supposed to keep the status quo. Like, the point of them being the council while the king was gone is to maintain the status quo, not to be changing things. But Bastian's like, now we need to fix this, you know, for the kingdom. And he's like, you know what? No, Belle's like, you know what? If you can bend on that, then you could maybe bend on something else. And he's like, what you talking about? She's like, okay, if you want to change things, let's make a change. And she puts out that she wants to host the salon, but the salon that she wants to host is not the normal salon. She wants all of the people, she wants learned people, commoners, she wants all kinds of people to come. And he's like, ugh. But it's a catch-22 because he has to say yes because he wants his thing done. So he says, yes, that's a good idea. And Belle's like, okay, I see what I did there. All right, yeah, we can go ahead and tax these people. I'm not feeling it too much, but we could tax these people. So they're going to enact that and do that. But really, all 17 ends on is the fact that between Belle and Bastien, they have this whole conversation about the fact that she doesn't trust, she actually blatantly essentially says, you know, I don't really trust you. And he's like, well, I don't mean for you not to trust me. He goes, my heart is here for Avion. You know, my duty is to Avion, not to Leo, my cousin, or to you, my cousin's wife, but to Avion. Those were very specific words that you chose, Bastien. But anyway, so Belle, like I said, they had this little conversation back and forth, and it wasn't really much of. We also find out that that there is a national, like they're in France, the National Assembly has crafted the Declaration of the Rights of Man, and so, you know, Bastien's trying to play that off a little bit, but Belle wants to hear a little more about that, but she's going to, we know she will. Somebody's going to talk to her about it. And, you know, she's battling for the commoners, you know, like Bastien doesn't want to have anything to do with the commoners or anything to do with the fact that the people of Avion are having problems. His thought is, no, we need to fix the nobles first, but there's no fixing of the nobles. So I don't know, but that's it, y'all. That is it. That was 15, 16, and 17. So hopefully we get back to some magic. I like the fact that the story's going, but I love the fact that Marguerite's back, and I love Mrs. Potts dropping her wisdom, but I feel like we only get nuggets of magic, and I want some more magic. We'll see how it goes. Other than that, thank you guys for sticking with me. You know, it's been super. If you haven't seen this before, I'll link a description I'll link my lady who made this in the description box below. It's beautiful. But stay with me. I'm happy you stayed with me. I don't know why I said stay with me. I'm glad you stayed with me. Thank you for everything, guys. Go ahead and leave a comment in the comment box below. Let me know what you think of the story so far. Yeah. And as always, have a magically blessed day. I'll be praying for you. Bye.